a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Jeremy Lee in the building and every guest that you ever needed. Sports cards after hours keep the hobby heated. Updates, hobby talk like you never seen it. Sports cards live and none could ever beat it. Sports cards is a lifestyle. Sports cards and we live now. Welcome to another episode of Sports Cards Live with your host, Jeremy Lee.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to a special early show here on a Saturday night. It is July the 20th, 2024. My name is Jeremy Lee, and I'm going to right away bring out my guest for this early show here. Again, this is a national theme show, Mr. David Marino, my good buddy. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
I can't believe you've done over 600 of these.
I'm getting there. I'm getting to 600, like
I like
a hair under, I think. Yeah.
I like that. I'm doing well. I'm here in beautiful Cleveland.
You're already there. When'd you get there?
I actually drove yesterday morning. So got here in 6-ish hours, 6.5 hours from New York. So kind of probably sped a little too fast, but it was definitely worth it.
So, I'm curious, why are you there so early? If the show, the National doesn't start till Wednesday, today is Saturday. You've been there since Thursday, it sounds like. Why do you need to show up there so early?
Yeah, it feels like I've been here for months. We've been planning a series of experiences around the National this year. The show management team and the board, have really, put together a stellar lineup of events and asked me to lead them in producing them. So, we have a great group of sponsors and supporters, and I think the hobby's really going to enjoy this National.
That's great. I'm looking forward to it. I in the description for this, I refer to you as the head of national experiences, but you're really, I guess the proper title would be producer of national experiences. Does that fit better?
Sure. I think that, there was an opportunity for me to come in and, kind of ideate and lead some new events that the management team had ideas that they wanted to do. And I jumped at it. I mean, we've been working on this since probably last September or October. A large group of us was on the ground in Cleveland in January, then again in May. So this has been a long time coming. So I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, well, same here, man. Same here. I want to get into some stuff. We got some people here in the chat already. Orlando is here from A Collector's Dream. As Orlando, always good to see you. Can't wait to see you at the National in Cleveland next week. Packs for Profit says, yeah, definitely should be helpful since it'll be my first sports car convention and going solo. So yeah, I don't know that we're going to get into all the tips and tricks. There's so much content out there, so much great content out there on the tips. This is I'm kind of looking at this as a behind the scenes because Dave's already there. This guy is already there at the show. So we're going to hear a bit more about that. Jeff Hart, what's happening, my friend? Good
Jeff
to see
Hart,
you.
How are you, sir?
Jacob Dahl, the curmudgeon, is here. Laura is here, just hanging out. That's right. Matt H says, I would consider him the NSCC events director. I think that sounds fitting to me right there. What's up, Jay-Z? Good evening. Jeff Hart says, nobody knows how to combine cards and cocktails better. Yeah, if any of you out there have ever seen a story post or you've ever seen a cards and cocktails solicitation, these have been Dave's events. I mean, you were involved in the old Mint collectives on the programming side out there. You at all the nationals for the past few years, you've always organized and held an event. What is it about events that you feel is so important for these larger conventions that we love to go to?
I think that especially in the hobby, there's so many different ways to socialize and having real opportunities. I mean, when we founded Mint, the idea was that we wanted to bring everyone together and create this incredible experience, right? But realistically, this all started in Chicago in 21. We didn't get our corporate space at the time until June 10th. So, Ezra and the team kind of tasked us with, all right, come up with the best idea that we possibly can to create like a really, really great experience for the hobby, our friends, our corporate partners, et cetera. And we created Cocktails and Cards. So, Cocktails and Cards was first in Chicago in 21 at Bounce. And, then we started hosting more Cocktails and Cards across the country. Obviously, I incorporated it into Mint, and it was, probably a pillar event for Mint Collective. It was a pillar event at Beckett Summit, which, we all really loved. And I think right now it's just so important because, listen, there's so many great shows out there, right? There's so many, really, really awesome, opportunities for people to connect. I mean, what Zablo does at Bleecker, for instance, right? Every week there's like a point of interaction. What Mintink's doing at Sports Card Expo, like that trade night at Sports Card Expo to me was like one of the cooler events that I've seen around the hobby. So I think that realistically, these points of interaction, these points of socialization are what's keeping it going, right? Like, especially in the age of social media. So I think that events always attract me. So
whenever I've been to a convention, a show, an expo, a national, a mint, and you've had an event planned, I've been there, and it's always been for me like a highlight. I go around, take pictures with people, and just really, you get to talk. It elevates the overall card show experience into a true convention sort of thing. I love the social aspect. Mark Zablo says, "What's up, North America?" Like you said, does a great. I remember going to his shop there in New York, and then getting on the bus and driving to the National from there in Atlantic City. The Atlantic City.
That was one of the cooler ideas. I think Card Ladder was involved in that also. Literally, the road to the National.
Road to the National. Yeah, that was. Yeah, we started off at Bleecker. We end up at the National, and that was a lot of fun. Ladies, man, we'll see you in Cleveland for sure. All Elite says just the perfect match: cocktails and cards. Jay-Z, anytime someone wants to make me a martini over cards, yeah, no doubt. The hobby has always been about the interaction with fellow collectors, never about the cards. And Dave, you seem to you really execute on that. The cards are just a bonus, a great bonus, says Jay-Z. So one thing that's been going on at the National really for a few years now are these trade nights. We've seen them. I believe Ryan Johnson from Card Collector 2 kind of started the first one with Jimmy from Roadshow Cards. And it started as 35 people in a room. Now it's thousands of people. You can't even get in sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's always been kind of planned outside of the National itself. What has your involvement been in producing these new trade nights? There's 3 official trade nights going on in the IX Center, which to me is awesome because you get out of the show, you go down to the trade night room, and you don't need to worry about rides and all this to get there. You need a ride later to get back to your hotel, but as far as going to the trade night, it's very convenient now. Tell us a little bit about the vision for as far as the management team goes, the board, and yourself. What was the vision for these trade nights, and what would you like everybody to know about them?
Yeah, so I think you hit it on the head, right? Ryan and Jimmy started these trade nights 8 years ago. They've just grown bigger and bigger each and every year. Atlantic City was bigger than anything else. I think that was the first official inclusion from the National. Last year was a tremendous success. John Basketball Card Guy and the Roadshow and Card Collector 2 teams really kind of hit a home run with that. The IX Center is, to give it a nice pat on the back, it's actually a great venue, and I think that frankly, having 44,000 square feet downstairs gave us the perfect opportunity to create a safe space, kind of come up with some very cool ideas, expand the trade nights into 3 nights, taking feedback from previous years, people not being able to get in, long lines. Well, there's not that FOMO this year, right? Yeah. If you can't get in on Thursday night, you're going to be welcome back on Friday night. If you can't get in Friday night, you'll be welcome back on Saturday night. And, you know, there's some other information dropping in the next few days, you know, about trade nights and kind of what to expect. But I think, you know, the key idea from the management team was, you know, expanding on, you know, what Roadshow and Card Collector 2 have done, and, you know, to create more opportunities for people to enjoy it. So now you have 3 nights. The space looks great, but, you know, and you know me, I rant and ramble, but you know, I think the key thing is it's about, you know, collectors first, right? Any attendee of the National will be able to attend the trade nights for free. And, you know, all of the sponsors and hosts and breakers have provided a tremendous amount of value back for people to enjoy. So that's my overall thesis on it.
Good evening, Perk. We'll see you at the National, I hope. Tell us a little bit about the sponsors, because my understanding, and I don't know that I understand this completely, is that each night of trade night has a different sponsor or group of sponsors. Is that correct? And is there anyone, would you like to shout these guys out a little bit even?
For sure. So I think you kind of you have to break it down a different way, right? So each night of trade night, so Jimmy and Ryan have always been the Thursday night trade night, right? Nothing changes there. This is their night. You know, and I also think it's important that, you know, the National created this opportunity, you know, to kind of keep it organized, make an experience out of it for everybody. So, you know, having multiple nights allowed us to have multiple hosts. So, you know, on Friday night, you have Card Ladder and Women in the Hobby and Layden. On Saturday night, Bleecker Trade-In, Burbank Sports Cards, DAPS, and then, you know, again, a nod to Expo, Mint Ink. You know, the sponsors are the same. You know, we have the same sponsors across all the trade nights. You know, our official sponsors are TikTok, Blowout Cards, GTS, Pristine, Overtime. Our presenting sponsor is eBay. And then, you know, we've got great partners. We have Blaze, we have Veriswap, we have Roadshow Cards, Bleecker Trade-In. I think, you know, GTS, right? But I think everyone is kind of pitching in and taking a step back, right? Sure, this is going to be about brand, but it's collectors first. So, and I think that's a really important mentality to have right now. Like the National is about, you know, getting together with your friends and trading cards. Like 95% of the people in the room don't care about anything else other than trading cards.
Yeah.
So
all those sponsors that you just mentioned, right up to the TikToks and that, are you just talking trade night, or is that for the whole National itself?
No. So we actually have a bunch of different experiences that we're building out. On Tuesday night, we have the dealer and corporate welcome night. That's going to be a really fun cocktail party set up for the dealers and corporate partners of the National. So, you know, after everyone's done setting up on Tuesday, we have like a really cool area and experience set up with some speakers and, you know, networking opportunities and other things that are going on, but that's, you know, private for the dealers and corporate partners. And then, you know, Wednesday we have the VIP party. And, you know, a lot of people really look forward to the VIP party, and, you know, it's going to be the same idea. You know, people will arrive early and, you know, get to hang out and see each other and get together and wait for the doors to open at 4. But, you know, we've elevated it. So, you know, there's some cool experiences that are going to be available to the VIPs. There's a catered lunch this year, which is, you know, I think definitely an elevation from years past. And, you know, we've done a really good job of building, you know, a really nice room out of our space. And I think people are really going to enjoy, you know, the attention to detail and the thoughtfulness that the management team and the board put towards this.
That's good to hear. Hello to the professor. Good evening. Happy to do a little early show tonight. Mojo Sports, Jay, what's going on if you're still there? Good to see you. He will be at the National. Jeff Hart wants to know who came up with the slogan, "It's cool to collect." Do you know the answer?
I believe it was the board or the management team.
Yeah, nice. I think it's a great slogan. No doubt about it. Something that I'm going to be doing at the National that I'm excited about. I'm there. I'm walking the floor. I don't have a booth. I'll be visiting various booths. I can't wait to just walk the floor. But I'm going to be doing some. I've got a few. Let me rephrase. There is a national live podcast studio going on. I've got 6, 7, or 8 slots in there throughout the Wednesday through Sunday. I'm going to be in there hosting some podcasts throughout the weekend. Tell us a little bit about that and kind of the purpose of it and what you expect that to provide to people who are either there and those that maybe aren't even going to be able to attend the National physically.
Yeah, so this was actually a really cool idea from Jimmy, Joe, and Brian. And TikTok Shop jumped at the opportunity to kind of lead that, which really makes sense for them. Obviously, TikTok being one of the largest audiences out there. But the idea behind this is again kind of an extrapolation of what we did at Mint Collective, right? It's to create an area for collectors and content creators to create content live from the National and kind of bring the National to people that, one, weren't able to travel here, two, have really interesting conversations that you might not be able to have, on a, sports card live, right? Like it's there, you're in the moment, you have this real connection, sitting next to the person you're speaking to. And, I think, Jimmy, Joe, and Brian really wanted to, create content from the show that will live on for the next year. That, as we are sitting and talking about the National in March and April, you can kind of, start to push that out and people will feel what last year's National was like. So I'm actually really excited for this and it's going to be a cool space.
Important question here from Pax for Profit. Is there security at the trade nights? He says, I assume the main convention there is. Paranoid about organized crime. Haha. What can you tell us about security at the trade nights?
Yeah, absolutely. So, even before recent events, Jimmy, Joe, and Brian, take security at their shows very seriously. So there are, former law enforcement officers that are involved in planning and strategizing around security. There are security enhancements at trade nights. We'll have security on site. Obviously, we've also, hired a show staff to kind of walk around and guide people that may have questions and help process people through the line. Again, I think that it being 3 nights, people once they realize that there might be a capacity issue, will go and hang out at a hotel or another event and just come back Friday or Saturday. So
do you think we're going to see pop-up trade nights at hotels this time as well?
I'm sure. I mean, I think people are going to gather everywhere. That's the whole point of coming to the National, right? To see your friends and kind of embrace the community. I'm sure there will be. I haven't heard of any planned. I do know that there's a couple of like satellite events that are going on. So I really think that Cleveland, from a center perspective, is a really great city for the National. I think the food scene here in Cleveland's awesome. So there's a lot for people to do. People have been going to Guardians games for the past couple of days, and all I've heard about on Clubhouse and in other conversations is catching games and all of these other events. So I think it'll be an enjoyable one. The only drawback I would say about the show in Cleveland is that the hotels aren't within walking distance like they are in Chicago. But this will be my 4th Cleveland National, and I can tell you it's my favorite facility for the show. The IX Center is my favorite of all the convention centers of maybe any show I've ever been to. So that to me is really important, and it's easy enough to get around. So I'm not concerned at all about the proximity to hotels, and it just offers that these different experiences. So I'm looking forward to it. It's good to hear
about the security at the trade night. That I think, we would almost take for granted that you would have that button down. So that's good. I want to say hello to Ray Hildreth. Welcome, Ray. Professor wants to know if I'll do any pop interviews like I did with Yager in Chicago last year. I mean, if I can, I will, Professor, but I can't promise that at all. The hobby with Cage. Will there be any opportunities for Bewick at the show? Cage?
No, Cage. No.
There won't be. Here, Laura, this is also.
Wait, hold on. Whoa. Cage. No. Cage, are you coming? More importantly, are there going to be any opportunities to see Cage? Because that's what I care about. Every single national, we walk the floor together. So if you're not here, I'm going to miss out on that.
So he better show up. I mean, otherwise you're going to be sad.
I would be surprised if I don't see him walking the floor at some point.
I can't imagine that he would miss the national, but I guess you never know. He's got a family. You just never know, a career. So it's possible, but I can't imagine he wouldn't be coming. Laura says, with recent issues at Long Beach and Dallas, how do you ease the concerns of vendors? And I think this is a legitimate question. Security, we talked about it at trade night. It applies to the show as well. And I mean, I don't know if this is your department. You are producer of experiences. You are not in charge of security. Is there anything you want to say about this? I know it's not on you, so you don't have to.
I think just as always, you have to be diligent, right? I mean, obviously there are bad actors in this world, and whether you're a dealer, an attendee, somebody hanging out at trade night, you need to watch over, your things, and you need to have, awareness of who's around you and what's going on, right? Make sure you don't put yourself in a position to potentially have something bad happen, and try and lean on the community and be around friends and watch each other's backs. I mean, I think that's something really important. And Jimmy and Ryan always start their trade nights, with this sense of community, right? Mm-hmm. Jimmy will get on the mic and he'll talk to the crowd and, encourage people to help people with trades and make sure that people aren't getting taken advantage of. And I think, overall, this is, by far the best community that I've ever been involved in. And, I think I've been on, in a lot of different areas within this industry and hobby, and, the collector's first community is always what I've gravitated towards. So
yeah, same here, man. Same here. I want to say hi to Bullseye Cards watching on Instagram. It is a better experience coming over to YouTube if you're watching on IG, but welcome to those all elites, as hopefully the air conditioning doesn't break down. You got to think that they're aware of that. What are your thoughts on that?
It was freezing in there today.
But there were how many humans in there? How many humans were in there?
So the way that the room is built, and I will definitely tip my hat to the board and the management team on this one. So, last year there were obvious issues. They created an opportunity to move in days earlier, right? The management team's spoken about this before. I can tell you, I've been to the National early every single year for the past 4 years. This has been the smoothest and less chaotic that I've ever seen it. And the way the IX Center was renovated, it's a box within a box. So you're kind of insulated from the outdoor heat. And hopefully it should be, pretty mild weather-wise. So
hopefully.
Listen,
maybe I just hope for the best, but you got to think, after what we went through last year in Chicago, for those, especially on the Thursday, that it'll get itself worked out, or they're aware of it at least. So hopefully they can mitigate.
It was also,
any of that.
I mean, and also last year was I'm pretty sure it was, a flat out heat wave in Chicago during the show. So I don't know if that was anybody's fault.
It's always a heat wave in Chicago during the National. Every time I've been, it's just that time of year. Jeff Hart, will there be a Cage and Geo podcast battle? That could be its own thing right there for sure. Professor, yes, I am sporting an Indie Card Exchange t-shirt. because they're IndyCar. My good friend Andy Albert's going to be set up there as he always is. Yitz, welcome. What's going on? Hope to see you there.
I love you, talk.
Orlando from Collector's Dream. Yeah, can't wait to meet you as well. So Jeff Hart tells Cage to book the flight. Cage says it's in Cleveland, so it had that working again. I don't listen. I've been to Cleveland 3 times for nationals, only for nationals. I've always had a great time. I'm sure there's some bad areas of town, but there is in Chicago and everywhere, every city in the U.S. anyway, and Canada for that matter. So I don't know what's so bad. Why do people poop on Cleveland?
I think that one of the coolest things about this community is we travel anywhere for cards, right? For each other. So I would challenge that, there's pretty much anywhere in the country that you could put the national that people will be happy to travel to it.
Yeah. I will say though, as far as Atlantic City goes, I don't think I want to go back there. Dan Vincent on IG says take Cleveland over Atlantic City any day. Me too, Dan. Me too.
Unpopular opinion. Now, I also enjoy a casino and restaurants and cocktails and, just nightlife. But yeah, I liked the convention center in Atlantic City. I didn't like the city in Atlantic City, but I liked the convention center minus the fact that there was no Wi-Fi.
So speaking of Wi-Fi, Jeff Hart does ask that question. Can you speak to the Wi-Fi situation at all?
I can't. I really, my focus has been, building out these experiences, but I'm fairly sure that there have been enhancements.
Good to hear. Rennie and Ronnie Meyer, what's going on, Ronnie? TCG, is there a chance that we wait in line for trade night and can't get in because it's reached max capacity? Have you thought about that, Dave?
Yeah, we have. Listen, I think you have a tremendous amount of people that are going to be traveling to Cleveland. I think for sure the best advice I can give is, arrive early. If you don't think that you'll be able to make it in, or you're going to be, all the way at the back of the line, then, come the next night. We will have, different procedures in place to kind of mitigate a lot of this. We will be offering, next day cards to the first 500 people online to come the following day and get access. So, there are things that we're doing, but, all we can do is be as best prepared as possible. But I wouldn't bank on being able to get in if you show up at 7:30.
Yeah. No, yeah. Be there. Maybe get there. Get in line as early as you can. Best advice. But there is a chance you're not going to get in. Really as simple as that. Just like any venue that has a capacity. I mean, there's fire issues there. It's there for safety, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Matt H says people rip on Cleveland for what it was. It's a fun town now with a great dining scene. That's great to hear. Orlando lets us know that they installed a new Wi-Fi that is supposed to be great there. That's good to hear. Ladies Man suggests Lago and Soro Italian and Sushi 5-star if you're looking for eats, and who isn't looking for eats? Well,
by the way, Cordelia is supposed to be incredible also.
Cordelia. So. There we go. Johnny A Cards on Instagram. That reminds me, Johnny A is the founder of Mint Inc. up in Toronto.
What's up, Johnny?
A new partner for the Sports Cards Live channel. And for everybody watching, on my next show, starting here in 30 minutes with Chris Sewall, baseball card collector, investor, dealer in that order, as well as Jeremy Donson, the Texas Snowman. For the very first time tonight, Mint Inc. is going to be giving you a $50 gift card that is valid on mintinc.ca. So you have to be watching the next show live in order to win it. And Mint Inc. is going to be giving one of those away every episode of SCL from now right through the end of this year. So pretty amazing partnership I have with Mint Inc. that really starts today. Very good. Justin, you're getting me twice tonight. This is the early show. We got the regular show starting in half an hour. Orlando says it's a 10 gigabyte network that was recently installed. So Orlando knows a bit about the IX Center. It seems at least. That's great. And Triple V, I'm going to bring up your comment, Triple V, but you're using the one term that it's so cringy. The natty. What a cringy term for me. howdy to you. Always good to see you, though. Have fun at the Natty. To all attending, I'm still having a big pre-war card later this year. Well, good stuff. Good stuff. Always happy to be here, Justin. And just we're hearing from Dave Marino. He is the producer of the National Experiences. Happy to do that. Dave, how has it been for you working with the new management team, Joe, Jim, and Brian? It's their first national. How's it been for you working with these guys? Is there anything you'd like the audience to know about that?
You know, it's funny. I remember Ray Schulte being on the show. It must have been in October when he was talking about his relationship with Mike Burkus and how he had a handshake deal that never had to be revisited with Mike. I think I feel similarly about Jimmy, Joe, and Brian. I've gotten to know Joe over the past couple of years, really closely prior to the national, and he's become a really good friend to me. Jimmy and Brian have quickly become very close friends to me as well. I think that they have the right mentality and the right ideas. I prefer to let them speak for themselves, but I can tell you as people that they live and breathe the hobby. I think that they definitely have a collectors first and dealers first mentality. They've all been dealers for 30, 40 years. They have, legacy shows, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm impressed by them. And I think that is me, I shoot off at the mouth too often, and things don't really easily impress me. I think that the way that they've handled this, they probably had an 8-month head start in planning versus the way things, have historically been focused on, at least from my experience as a corporate partner. And they've thought a lot of things through, and it'll only get better. And I believe that. So
good. Yeah. Very, very excited. Perk says, I like the spot for cocktails and cards in Atlantic City out on the roof at Hard Rock, just getting anywhere.
That was a fun one.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah. That was a ton of fun. I remember Cage says we had fun, Perk. I remember talking to Perk. I remember talking to Cage. Cage had his cigar event there.
Whoa. Cage gave out over 150 cigars.
I know.
That was a fun party.
That was a good one. That was the party within the party.
That was Lawrence Taylor, Eric Dickerson, Tim Hardaway. That was a cool one.
That was a lot of fun for sure. So what else is exciting you that we actually, before I ask you that, what I was going to say is what else is exciting about the national, the hobby in general, but is there anything else that people that you give us a sneak peek on, or anything that people might not expect, or anything coming up this week in Cleveland for people that will be there, even that won't, that you want to share before I just ask you how you're feeling about the hobby in general?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna plug my own event, right?
Do it.
We have a 90s rip party with Bleecker Trading and Doc Gooden. Slab Stocks is going to be ripping. I think it's Bowman U with Will Howard, the new quarterback of Ohio State. I won't give this one away, but Jimmy and Ryan are going to be doing a really cool rip party on the main stage at Trade Night with a very, very well-known former Cleveland Brown. I think, again, 95% of the people are going to be at Trade Nights to trade cards, right? But there's very fun experiences planned. There's tons of giveaways. So I'm really looking forward to that. We have some featured breaks that are really cool. We're doing, what are we doing? The largest F1 break at the National in partnership with a driver from Williams Racing that is going to be giving away race worn memorabilia as part of this. He won't be live, but he will be there via video. Blez is doing a 5-case Dynasty break. Mint Inc., Jeremy will be excited for this one, is doing a tremendous multi-case hockey break live from the National. And then, our partners are doing rip parties from the stage. eBay's doing live trivia with Scott Rogowski for tons of cool prizes. Like, people are really stepping up. But here's my favorite one. So overtime and blowout are going to be giving out over 1,000 blasters over the 3 days of overtime chasing SAR. So like these are the moments to me that I think are really cool. You know, Fish from Blowout is sending over 1,000 blaster boxes. It's 40 cases in addition to everything everyone else is doing. So I think it's going to be a really fun series of events.
Nice. All right, let's go to a few more comments here. Jeff Hart, I'm going to leave your comment alone for now. Cage says you have to trust Marino on this one. He was mint, the brains behind it. He has cards and cocktails. Now he's planning the event at the National, so trust that it is going to be great. I certainly do. Perk says, Cage is punking us. You just want us to be especially grateful when you come out from behind the curtain.
100%. Cage is coming.
Is he not? Is he actually not coming? Like, is that?
He's coming.
He's coming. How could he not? How could he miss it? Like that'd be ridiculous. Jeff Hart, yeah, in Marino, we trust for sure. High Gloss is guessing that well-known former Cleveland Brown is Peyton Hillis. I have a different guess.
Who's your guess?
My guess is none other than Johnny Manziel.
So he will be at the National. I think he's doing something with one of the corporates, but it is not Johnny Manziel.
Okay. Is it Peyton Hillis?
It is not anybody that is signing at the National.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. So, Dave, we're going to go for about 3 more minutes here. I'm going to take about a 15-minute break and then come back for my main episode of Sports Cards Live tonight. Not that this isn't main. This is me. Whenever I'm with you, it's a main event, Dave. Just to make that clear.
I'm excited to see you.
As always, my friend. What are you excited about just in the hobby in general? It may be maybe shows in general, collecting cards. Where are you at as far as the hobby goes?
So I've started a couple new PCs. So that's really exciting me. I'm actually getting really into the Topps retro cards of Hall of Famers. Those are fun for me right now. You know, I'm excited to talk to everyone again. There's this. It feels a little disjointed, but people are coming, together again. I'm having more card focused conversations. I'm seeing more people, posting their PCs, and even somebody tonight he posted, his Drazen Petrovic, list and ended up connecting instantly with another Drazen collector. Like I'm interested for those moments. I'm really excited with the amount of investment back that companies like eBay and Fanatics and all these companies are putting back into the space. Obviously they have to, but do they really have to? Right? I don't know. There's a lot to be excited about. I'm really excited for the fall show schedule. I'm coming out to Toronto, obviously. I'm excited for Montreal. I'm excited for East Coast National. I'm actually coming back from my vacation early to go to that. I'm excited for the Philly show. I'm excited to start seeing people again.
Yeah. I can't wait to get to Cleveland and to walk into the show on Wednesday morning for the first time. What I love about the National, really any card show, but the National is a bit different for me because it's, as far as US shows go too, I've only gone to the National and the Burbank show. As far as I can remember, I think those are the only 2 US shows. And there's, I'm excited. I collect all 4 major sports, but hockey dominates my collection. There's no doubt about it. But I love going to the National because I don't know what Hall of Fame baseball rookie card I'm going to come home with. And it's going to be something. I just don't know what it is. So I can't. That's one of my favorite.
I'm buying my first Jordan rookie card at the National this year.
Well, so you're picking up an 84 Star 101?
No. Although I did see a great Star auto circulating, which is exciting me, but I can't afford it. But I will be picking up a PSA 1 86 Fleer if I find one.
Are you? A 1?
Oh, yeah,
hey,
for sure.
Make sure it's got some eye appeal. Justin Bode says I'm going to have a blast there. Justin, are you coming? And if not, Why not? Why aren't you coming to the National, buddy? Be good to see you there for sure. All right, Dave. Well, listen, it's been nice to sit with you here. If anyone has any last minute questions for Dave, please feel free to put them in the chat. Clay Phillips, what's going on? Good evening. I'll be back again at the top of the hour here for the Sports Cards Live, the traditional Saturday night Sports Cards Live episode. Chris Sewall from the Baseball Card Collector Investor Dealer, in that order, YouTube channel will be joining, as well as Jeremy Donson, the Texas Snowman, will be joining the show as well. Go ahead.
And one last thing.
Yeah.
The Ludex Lounge is actually awesome this year. So if you make it to trade nights and you can get in there, go have a cocktail and enjoy.
I hear people saying Ludex. I've heard Ludex. How do you say this? How do you say that?
I would say Ludex.
Me too.
I would say Ludex
too. Yeah. As would I. Justin Bode, we'll see you at then. And for anyone who doesn't know, the next 3 nationals after this year, 2025, 26, and 27, are all in Chicago. So that's something that we don't need to worry about. Location for 3 years.
Gibson's, baby.
What's that?
Gibson's,
right? Gibson's, Morton's. They're all right there. Laura, thank you for being here. Everyone else who tuned in for this little early show tonight, thanks for popping in. Hope you learned something about what we're going to expect here at the National, the trade nights. As people have been saying in the chat, Dave Marino does a great job of facilitating, organizing, producing the social events around these biggest conventions in the hobby. Jeff Hart says, will be a tough follow for the next segment. Well, I don't want to say it won't be, but Chris Sewall has like 70,000 subscribers on YouTube and is one of the most popular YouTubers out there. So I'm sure we'll do just fine, Jeff, but hope to see you in the chat for that. Yitz, good to see you as always. We'll see you soon. Jeff Hart, look forward to seeing you, buddy. Justin Bode is thanking you, Dave, for popping on here with me, guys. You ready to sign off?
Love you guys. See you in a couple days.
Thanks, everybody. I'll be back on in about 15 minutes again. And starting tonight, Mint Inc. is offering a $50 gift card to one of the viewers on Sports Cards Live. We're going to do a random giveaway tonight and every episode of Sports Cards Live till the end of the year. Really excited about that partnership. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We'll see you back here in about 15 minutes. Dave, hang tight right there. This episode of Hobby Hangout, the 2024 NSCC preview, It's Cool to Collect, is now over.